In 1513, an Ottoman admiral drew a map showing Antarctica's coastline in perfect detail. But Antarctica wasn't officially discovered until 307 years later. How was this possible? Think about that for a second. An entire continent buried under miles of ice, and somehow it was mapped centuries earlier. No satellites, no airplanes, no modern technology. So where did this knowledge come from? And more importantly, who had it? The man behind this mystery was an Ottoman admiral named Piri Reis. Not just a military leader, but a skilled navigator and cartographer. In 1513, he created a world map. At first glance, it looks ordinary, but the closer you look, the stranger it becomes. The Americas are clearly visible and surprisingly accurate for the time. South America's coastline, almost perfect. But that's not the real mystery. Down at the bottom of the map, there's something else. A landmass. And some researchers believe that landmass is Antarctica. But not just Antarctica. An ice-free Antarctica. Today, Antarctica is completely covered in ice. Its true coastline is hidden beneath layers that took thousands of years to form. And yet, this map appears to show what's underneath. So how could someone in 1513 know that? That's not guesswork. That's precision. And here's where it gets even stranger. Piri Reis didn't claim he discovered this himself. He wrote that he copied his map from much older sources. Ancient maps. Maps that were already old, even in his time. But those original maps, they've never been found. Which raises a disturbing question. Who made them? And how? But that's not even the most shocking part.
Section 2. The Waldseemüller Map.
Now let's move to Europe. The year is 1507. A German cartographer named Martin Waldseemüller creates a world map. It's the first map to ever use the name America. But there's a problem. A big one. This map clearly shows a massive ocean, separating the Americas from Asia. The Pacific Ocean. Here's the issue. At that time, no European had ever crossed it. That wouldn't happen until Ferdinand Magellan in 1520, 13 years later. So how did Waldseemüller know the Pacific existed? And not just that it existed, but how big it was. That's not a lucky guess. That's knowledge. But from where? And it gets even stranger. Later in his life, Waldseemüller actually pulled back some of his own ideas, almost as if something didn't add up, or maybe something wasn't meant to be revealed. Section 3. The Bute Map. Now fast forward to 1737. A French geographer named Philippe Bute creates a map of Antarctica, which is already strange, because Antarctica hadn't even been properly explored yet. But here's the real shock. He didn't just draw the continent. He split it into two land masses, separated by an inland sea. At the time, this idea made no sense. There was no proof. People dismissed it as imagination. Then, in 1958, scientists used sonar technology to map what lies beneath Antarctica's ice. And what did they find? Two land masses, separated, exactly like Bute had drawn 221 years earlier. No satellites, no sonar, no modern tools. So how did he know? Coincidence? Or was he also using older, lost sources? But that's not even the most shocking part. If multiple people across different centuries had access to this knowledge,
then maybe it was never truly lost. Maybe it was hidden. Section 4. The Vinland Map.
Now let's talk about another controversial map. One that challenges everything we've been taught. We're told that Christopher Columbus discovered America in 1492. But what if that's not true? The Vinland map appears to show part of North America, labeled as Vinland. This connects to the Vikings and the explorer Leif Erikson, who is believed to have reached North America nearly 500 years before Columbus. If this map is real, then Columbus wasn't the first, not even close. But here's the problem. No one can agree if the map is authentic. Some experts say it's real, others say it's a fake. One test claims the ink is ancient, another says it's modern. So what's the truth? Real or fake? And why is there so much confusion? Because if it's real, history has to be rewritten. But that's not even the most shocking part. Every time something challenges the official story, it gets buried in debate, and the truth gets lost somewhere in the middle.
Section 5. The Big Question.
Now step back and look at all of this together. Different countries, different time periods, different people, and yet the same pattern appears. Knowledge that shouldn't exist. So what's the explanation? Coincidence? Guesswork? Or something much bigger? Some researchers believe there was once an advanced ancient civilization, one capable of mapping the Earth thousands of years ago. A civilization that was destroyed and forgotten, leaving behind only fragments of knowledge, like these maps. This idea goes back to Plato, who wrote about a lost civilization called Atlantis, a powerful society that vanished in a single day. Most people consider it a myth. But what if it wasn't? Researchers like Graham Hancock believe that such a civilization may have existed, one with advanced knowledge of geography, astronomy, and engineering. And then something happened. A global catastrophe, and everything was lost. Except pieces, clues, fragments, like these maps. And then there's another mystery. The Library of Alexandria, one of the greatest collections of knowledge in history, destroyed, burned, lost forever. What if that knowledge didn't disappear, but was hidden, removed, protected? But that's not even the most shocking part. If this knowledge existed once, then it means humanity may have forgotten more than it remembers.
So now the question is, what do these maps really mean? A lost civilization? A hidden truth? Or something we are not meant to understand? Because if these maps existed, what else did they know that we've lost forever? And more importantly, who didn't want us to find out? If you want more stories like this, subscribe, because the deeper you go, the stranger it gets.